Right, what is up, everybody? We are back at it again with something a little bit different today. There has been this very cool Izzet mid-range deck that has been popping up on the MTGO leagues and tournaments, and it has looked super cool to me. We're looking at the list right now. We're using VV, Agatha, Soul Cauldron to exile Vivi and then give Vivi's ability to other creatures like Quantum Riddler. I've been playing this deck a little bit off stream, but there's a lot to unpack here. I wanted to give it a run on stream, see how it goes, learn the deck a little bit more. I think there's a lot of lines to really kind of sink our teeth into and find out with this deck. There's so much going on. It's been a ton of fun to play. I've had some crazy turns with it where I'm against Golgari, I'm empty-handed, all I have is an Agatha Soul Cauldron with a VV, and you top deck a Quantum Riddler, and all of a sudden you have 3 new cards. You've got 5 extra mana from putting Vivi's ability onto the Quantum Riddler. I've had some insane turns with this deck so far. So shout out to the MTGO players. I just grabbed the list that has been popping up a lot from MTGO, and we're going to be playing that today. I wanted to get a feel for the deck first before I started tinkering and making any changes. There's a lot of lines with it, so I want to get a little bit more familiar with the deck list before I start putting my own spin on it. Let's run through the cards real quick. We have 2 Into the Flood Maws, a Lightning Axe, 2 Torch the Towers. This is our main interaction suite. We are still in Pioneer. Being able to answer creatures is necessary in the Pioneer format. We have Kid Loki, Marauding Mako as our 1-drops, and as our creatures that are able to put +1/+1 counters on themselves so they can get the ability from Agatha Soul Cauldron. So speaking of Agatha Soul Cauldron, this is the card that really ties the deck together. So I'm sure you're familiar with it. With, yo, what's up, Badfish? We're playing this really cool Izzet mid-range deck today. Any cards exiled with Agatha's Soul Cauldron, any of our creatures with 1/1 counters get their ability. So our Marauding Mako and our Kid Loki are able to get the ability of Vivi if it's exiled. And we do have one Valdarin Thrill Seeker. Really fun to give this ability to a 4/6 or a 5/7 Quantum Riddler and just dome our opponent for 5 or 6. I've won a lot of games by get a Thrill Seeker exiled, put a bunch of 1/1 counters on something with Prof's at Adic Memory, and then sacrifice it to do a bunch of damage. Fear of Missing Out, another way to discard cards and just get aggressive. At the end of the day, this is a mid-range deck. We win by attacking our opponent, so having Fear of Missing Out just synergizes very well with the deck. We have Winter Night Stories. This is a way to churn through the deck, a way to trigger our Marauding Mako, a way to trigger Kid Loki, a way to get Vivi's into the graveyard to exile with Agatha's Soul Cauldron. This really is the glue that ties a lot of the deck together. Same with Jadzi. Just these draw 2, discard 1 or 2 effects are the glue that lets us churn through the deck and just make sure we're getting to see all of our combo pieces. And then just some lands here. And sideboard, just a lot of various good Izzet sideboard cards. Notably, we are on Ashiok. This stops any of the decks that are tutoring. Ral for the grindy matchups. Some more removal depending on what matchups we're in. We have, for sweepers, we have a Fire Magic and an Anger of the Gods. I think that's it for the deck tech. Like I said, I grabbed this list. This is the one that has been putting up some decent results on the MTGO leagues, so shout out to the MTGO players for coming up with this one. It is super sweet, and looking forward to getting to know the deck a little bit better and then potentially putting my own spin on this deck list. That being said, let's go ahead and get into some matches. We are against Gaipon. Not sure the meaning of that. And all right, this hand, we don't have one of our 1-drops, but we have 2-drop into 3-drop. So let's go ahead and keep really looking for a Agatha's Soul Cauldron to tie this hand together. And opponent is starting off with a turn 1 Thoughtseize. Ikoria and Zalfir. Yeah, 2027 is also looking sweet. Noctis is good. Yeah, I'm excited for... funny enough, in this deck, we're actually pretty fine with Vivi getting Thoughtseized because we almost want him there so we can exile him with Agatha's Soul Cauldron. All right, opponent follows up with a Duress. The main deck Duress takes our Winter Night Stories. We can cast this with Harmonize. Let's just go ahead and get the Fear of Missing Out down. Discard a Steam Vents. We're starting to draw a lot of lands, and we're 1 card away from Delirium. Easiest way to get this would be another Fear of Missing Out or another Memory. All right, we draw Spire Bluff Canal for turn. Opponent's on an Orzhov pile. I would imagine that means a ton of removal. So let's go Spire Bluff for turn and just cast this Winter Night Memories with Harmonize. Tap the Fear of Missing Out. All right, so we can get Delirium here by discarding this Fear... Oh, sorry, we exiled Sorcery from our graveyard, so we're a little bit a ways from getting Delirium now. Let's discard the Thrill Seeker. That's another one we want in the graveyard. Get some card advantage. We found a Quantum Riddler. Quantum Riddler is usually pretty good against Orzhov decks. Looks like it is just Orzhov Greasefang. They discard a Sky Sovereign. So would like to find an answer to a Greasefang at some point. All right, let's go Verge. Let's get a Mako down and actually starting to get some pressure on our opponent. Play Jadzi. Really just looking for a Cauldron at this point. We don't find a Cauldron. We do find an answer for a Greasefang starting next turn. Let's discard 1 Fear of Missing Out to get Enchantment in the graveyard. And Mutavault. Now let's discard 3rd Vivi. An opponent scoops it up. Interesting concession there from our opponent. Their hand must have just been nothing. All right, for Orzhov Greasefang, let's go Rending Volley in, Abrade in. Ashiok seems a little bit slow in this matchup. Let's just bring in 2 removal spells. This does not kill Greasefang. And trim some of the slower cards. Maybe 1 Quantum Riddler, 1 Jadzi. Let's go to 1 Profs. Just need the Talents and Avengers for scrap. Oh, very close. Yeah, I've been wondering what this deck does. Just realized exactly what you're on. I haven't let it show. So I've played a little bit of this deck on stream, but I'm also learning the lines with this deck. This deck has a lot going on, a lot of moving pieces. And so that's why I wanted to play it, because I've been seeing it pop up. And really seems like one of those decks that we need to get quite a few matches in to really learn what all of the optimal lines are. All right, opponent is taking quite a while. I wonder if they had to leave to do something, because that concession in game 1, I wonder if they got busy and had to leave to do something. I do wish, and maybe I'm unaware, but Arena should add a concede match button for best of 3. If there is one and I don't know about it, let me know. But it is weird that there's not a concede match button. Love the 2-drop red creature. The fear of missing out. Fear of missing out is, yeah, very very cool card. I really liked watching some of the modern decks with fear of missing out. It can just have some crazy turns. It's felt all right so far in Pioneer. In this deck, Delirium's a little bit harder to get in Pioneer than it is in Modern. And looks like, yeah, our opponent just had to go somewhere, so they, yeah, I really wish that we didn't have to sit through this, but this is a 1-lander. We're on the draw. We have a removal spell, potentially a risky keep, but I don't think our opponent is here, so. Just need, oh yeah, talents is the artist talent and Avengers Disassembled for Scred. Yeah, let me know how your version of Scred ends up playing more of the combo version of the list with, was it Screaming Nemesis in the main deck? I do like the synergy. Screaming Nemesis with Avengers Disassembled as a way to do 3 damage to it. Oh, is our opponent here? Oh, opponent showed up. Well, maybe this 1-lander was a little bit risky. Opponent looking at the Torch the Tower. All right, so it looks like they have a fast Greasefang hand. We don't get punished and we draw the land off the top. That's very good. Opponent has a Starting Town. Does Orzhov usually play Starting Town? All right, yeah, looks like our opponent is just on a fast Greasefang and we draw the Into the Flood Maw. This doesn't solve the issue, though. So we're going to just force... No, but they almost 100% have it. I think we do have to force them to have it, though. Let's discard... Second Fear of Missing Out here. Get 1 away from... So they are Abzan, and it's a good thing that we forced them to have it because they did not have it. They get back an Overlord. So it seems like that's why they conceded game 1. They just didn't have green mana. Okay, we have Enchantment Creature Instant. So we can play Steam Vents untapped, play Winterlight Stories. That gives us Delirium, and then we attack for this turn. Yeah, that sounds good to me. Let's discard probably this Vivi. Yeah, let's discard Vivi. Go ahead and get in for 4 this turn. Untap the Fear of Missing Out. And get in for another 2. Gotta dodge Greasefang this turn. They didn't have it last turn. They have Chariot. Alright, opponent has a Chariot. We can now start leaving up this Rending Volley for a potential Greasefang. We are really having a hard time finding lands and finding an Agatha's Soul Cauldron here. Let's just cast another Winterlight Stories. As long as we find a land here to leave up this Rending Volley, we should be good to go. Not sure what opponent's thinking about here. Are they thinking about crewing the Chariot in response? Deep in the tank about something. Okay. Are we discarding a Mako or are we discarding two more Winterlight stories? We find the land, but it is an island. We can discard one Mako. Play basic island, and yeah, we're can't attack here into the chariot. Opponent hardcasts Overlord. They do not find a Greasefang. We will just return the chariot to their hand. Yep, so they crew chariot. And before attacks, just return the chariot to their hand. Go with the tempo play here. We have so many cards that we can deal with a little bit of card disadvantage. Okay, we draw another land. We really need a Agatha's. So let's... I think we're just digging for Agatha's at this point. Play a Mako. And play Island. Play another Winterlight Stories. We just cannot find... Man, we just cannot find an Agatha Soul Cauldron. We can discard just the Winterlight, get 2 counters on the Mako, and let's leave up our creature removal. Pass the turn. Affinity is super close. Yeah, I think so too. I've been looking at... I was just looking at some affinity lists the other day, and... Or like just some affinity cards. Okay, sorry. Opponent has Greasefang. We do have the Rending Volley for this. So Rending Volley, Greasefang. But they have this Overlord. So they just get to get the Greasefang back. Yep, they get back Greasefang. No blocks. Still no Agatha Soul Cauldron. Okay. Let's play the Verge. Play... So we Winterlight, tapping our Mako. Sure. Winterlight Stories, tap our Marauding Mako. Wow, we are just not able to find Agatha Soul Cauldron. All right, are we discarding... I think we want second Mako, or... No, let's decline. Discard Spirebluff Canal, discard... Discard land. Let's keep second Mako. Alright, Mako's a 5/5 now. Play second Mako. Play Profs, leave up into the Floodmaw. Okay, we draw Torch the Tower. Go to combat. And let's make... I think we want Fear of Missing Out to be big. And we just have a pretty free attack here, right? Yeah, go in with the Fear of Missing Out. If they want to trade everything, then... Oh, okay, nice. So yeah, we get to... Do we get a big blowout here? So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if we kill a cat, we just get hit by the Greasefang. So kill Formidable Speaker and cat token. All right, yep. Oh. Okay, sorry. Yeah, so I am, like I said, also my first time playing this deck. That's an insane synergy. That we get the double Fear of Missing Out triggers. All right, so if opponent plays Greasefang, we have Torch the Tower. sacrifice this profs. Sacrifice an artifact, enchantment, or token. We might just return Greasefang to their hand. Had 2 5/5s and a 6/6 by turn 3. What were you using to make the construct tokens? The 3 mana. What's that card? The Simulacrum. All right, opponent. Wow, they just go with the Professor of Symbiology. If we get to just into the Floodmaw this. Wow, so we get to just into the Floodmaw their Overlord this turn. This puts them way behind. Okay. Return their Overlord. Sure, they can destroy our profs. All right, we'll take 2. And we draw a VV for turn. We're halfway through our deck, no Agathas. Are we casting VV first? I think we're casting VV first here. Cast VV. Cast a Winterlight Stories. Tap the Mako. Trigger VV. Still no Agathas. We are officially halfway through our deck with no Agatha's Soul Cauldron. All right, let's discard. Is it just Kid Loki? I think it's Kid Loki. We want to keep as many removal spells in our hand as we can. Now, yeah, just discard Kid Loki. Mako gets bigger. And let's go. I think we're just leaving up removal this turn. So add a red with VV, cast this Fear of Missing Out. Set up for a bigger turn next turn. Discard Jadzi. Draw land. Play the land. We're leaving up a Braid or Torch the Tower. Yep, pass the turn. Yeah, Simulacrum Singritzer, that's in the... Oh, yeah, and Krang is in Pioneer too. All right, opponent hardcast the Overlord again. Was doing something more budget today. Budget mana base. Yeah, budget mana bases are tough in Pioneer. I think you really need to be in green. All right, opponent just hardcast Overlord, gets back another Greasefang. I think we're just... I really want to trigger VV this turn. Nah, but we can wait till our turn. All right, we draw another... This is... We're 27 cards left in the deck. Let's cast Winterlight Stories. Tap Marauding Mako. Still no Agatha's Soul Cauldron. Make the Mako bigger. Play green. We haven't gone through the Vampire, right? Okay, so we still have the Vampire as just a live draw to immediately kill our opponent. I think we're just going to continue to leave up removal here. Let's cast this Fear of Missing Out. Discard 1 Quantum Riddler. Okay, draw Kid Loki. Play the Kid Loki and cast... Use Vivi to cast this Winterlight Stories, tapping our Summoning Sick, Fear of Missing Out. All right. We'll discard 2 lands. We're good on mana at this point. Leave up both our removal spells. Mako is now at 11/11, so all we have to do is find... No attacks. All we have to do is find the Vampire now. There's 20 cards left in the deck. I think the list I played tonight might be better than the Krang one. I'd be curious to see your affinity lists and see the direction that you went with them. Because I think there is something there in affinity. Okay, so this is at the beginning of combat, so they can recast, but we can sacrifice one of our fear of missing out. So it's a braid grease fang. And then opponent scoops it up. Okay. Well, X in Pioneer right off the bat. All right, we have an awkward hand on the mana. We really need a Steam Vents or a basic to turn these on, but we're going to keep this and play Pathway on blue. Opponent is on a mulligan to 5. We have a pretty nice curve here of just memory into VV. Actually, or we can warp Quantum Riddler. Now let's get the memory down. Okay, we have found Agatha's Soul Cauldron this game. Opponent is, oh, mono black. Okay, so we got absolutely destroyed by mono black the last time we played against it. Would really like to get some counters with these, but I think we're just going to hard cast this Winterlight Stories, discard our VV. Yep. Discard VV. Now next turn, a little awkward to not draw a land off of that Winterlight Stories. Opponent has a Thoughtseize, so we lose the Soul Cauldron. That's very good timing for our opponents. Soul Cauldron down. We take 2 from the Gifted Aetherborn. Opponent does not have a follow-up. We find a Sokenzon. This is another red source that does not turn on our Verges. But let's play Sokenzon and go Fable plus Mako. Set up for next turn. Cast Fable the Mirror Breaker. Cast Mako. I'd imagine that one of these two is getting Fatal pushed. Wow, no Fatal push from our opponent. That's a little bit surprising. We can grow the Mako to 3 power next turn, so our Winterlight Stories will be 2 mana. Alright, so our opponent has the Baron. I haven't seen this card do its thing yet, but it is very cool when it does, I'm sure. Alright, opponent gets in for 2. We'll take another 2. We draw another land that does not turn on our Verges, so we're going to discard a tap land here. And just discard... It's just second Winterlight Stories or Profs. Let's discard Profs. We just find another Spirebluff Canal. So this turn, we go to combat. We put 2+1/+1 counters on the Goblin Shaman. That makes our Winterlight Stories cost 1 mana. And then, yeah, so let's go to combat. No attacks. Second main, tap Goblin Shaman to... Okay, we find a Steam Vents. Let's decline and discard 2 lands. Or are we discarding... Yeah, discard Spirebluff Canal and Steam Vents. Play Basic Island. And let's go Warp Quantum Riddler plus leave up into the Floodmaw. Or, no, let's get Fear Missing Out down. Let's discard Winterlight Stories. And we draw a second Fear of Missing Out. We don't need to leave up into the Floodmaw. Famous last words, but we have Delirium. We'll discard a Quantum Riddler. Okay, we find another Agatha's. That's great. We have Vivi in the graveyard still. Yep, we have Vivi in the graveyard. Opponent has an Overlord. They connive away a... They're thinking. Last turn they connived away a land, so this is still a 3/3. They connive away a Rouse Zarek. Good synergy there with this new Baron. They get back a Shieldred, so we know that it's coming. Don't know what they have one unknown card in hand. They're thinking about casting something. They're away. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 black. They get in for 2, no blocks. So we do need to answer this Baron sooner than later, but we should have a pretty good turn this turn. We have... I mean, can we just win? So we cast Agatha's. We put Vivi's ability onto Goblin Shaman, and then we just make it giant with this Fear of Missing Out and make a ton of mana for the second main phase. Yeah, let's do that. So, cast Agatha's. An opponent concedes. All right, yeah. I'm not exactly sure what the line was there, but I know he would have been able to find it. We have Unable to Scream. This seems loses all abilities and is a toy. That is good against the Baron. Disdainful Stroke hits Shieldred. Spider Sense doesn't do anything. Well, it counters Thoughtseize. Oh, or... No, the Baron is an activated ability. Chandra's Defeat doesn't do anything. This keeps their graveyard in check. We'll bring in Ashiok. Their deck is pretty reliant on comboing with the Baron. They're playing a lot of suboptimal cards to make Baron good. All right, so we're bringing in 3. Yeah, the 2 Ashiok and Unable to Scream. We can go down 1 Fable, 1 Jadzi, and we want the Quantum Riddlers. Can't cut our main package. One Winterlight Stories. Feels a little weird. This is the glue. Quantum Riddler is really good in this matchup. Let's go down 1 Profs. Yeah, this deck is really cool. It's pretty Agatha's reliant. Okay, so this hand we have lands, we have a Profs, we have Vivi and a Winternight Stories. We're going to keep this. It's relatively Thoughtseize proof. Opponent starts off with a double Leyline into a Thoughtseize. So this shuts off actually a pretty big majority of our deck. Opponent exiles Vivi. We top deck a Kid Loki, I guess. This is our plan. Gotta dodge Thoughts or Fatal Push. All right, so its opponent's on 1 land. 1 land, double Leyline, Thoughtseize. We're on Kid Loki in a Dream. Started with Izzet, made it Jeskai, ended Azorius. Is this for Affinity? I think you have to be on red in Affinity because you get the Warp card. All right, let's cast a Winternight Stories this turn. Play Mutavault so we can start attacking with it. Cast this Winterlight Stories. Just discard. I think it's just Agatha's Soul Cauldron and Ooh, maybe made a mistake here. Probably just one Kid Loki. Yeah, I think the right play here was to discard the one Kid Loki, but now that we have declined to do that, we'll discard land. And we draw a second card. Wow, Kid Loki is just a 7/7. Opponent's dead next turn. They have to have an answer for this. Any removal spell does it. Opponent impendings and concedes. All right, Kid Loki into prof aggro. That was cool. And yeah, because of course with Shrapnel Blast, because I think that's one of the best reasons. I think in Pioneer you want to be on. Oh wow, opponent's on basic forest. So we're gonna play second Mako. Because the odds that our Mako. Alright. It was actually just Selesnya all the time. But I think the odds of these Mako surviving is actually pretty high. Are we VVing here? I think we just cast VV here past the turn. No attacks. We're starting to flood a little bit. We need to find Winterlight Stories would be really good off the top. Any card draw. So opponent does have a Skyclave for our VV. Don't love that, and an Elvish Mystic to follow up. Opponent gets in for 2. We just draw a second prof. So play this, see what we draw. 2 mana 5/5 looping some. Oh yeah, that looping prototype. Are we just? I think we're gonna play second. Play second profs here, or do we just warp Riddler and play Riddler next turn? Yeah, let's do that. Warp Riddler. Draw land. Put these counters on a Mako. No attacks. Let's just play some defense for now. We win in the late game with the cards. Is there... Yeah, Looping Prototype can't attack unless a player has no cards in hand. So are you planning that you'll be the player with no cards in hand to attack with it? All right, opponent has this Sarek. We're not really targeting their creatures with stuff, though, so... I don't care too much about this. Oh, this is bad. They gave it double strike. All right. We'll take 6. Okay, I thought this was just standard Selesnya. This is actually the practiced offense version of Selesnya. We're in a little bit of trouble here with how we drew. I think we're just playing another Quantum Riddler and doing some blocking this turn. Play the Quantum Riddler. We draw a VV. So we can make... Let's make a big Riddler. No attacks. Yeah, practiced offense on the Sarok, giving it double strike. Trades with the Riddler. Do they have another practiced offense? We're dead to another practiced offense. Opponent's thinking... This card has felt really strong. I have another list that maybe we'll play tomorrow or at some point this weekend. I've been liking it in Boros, a Boros heroic version of practiced offense, but this card has really surprised me with how good it is. All right, opponent's really thinking about attacks here. They just tank for a super long time and then cast another practiced offense. Okay. You got it, opponent. All right, let's bring in our sweepers. Bring in a Braid and... Aether Gust is a little bit slow. We're going to leave the Aether Gusts out. and cut our slow cards. And we're bringing in a bunch of sweepers. So we can go down one Kid Loki, maybe one Jadzi, and click submit. Definitely learning as we go with the sideboarding with this deck. This Selesnya deck, the Selesnya practiced offense, has looked very strong every time I've played against it. It's been very, very fast. And the fact that they use all their mana dorks, they just turn their mana dorks into creatures that kill you, has looked really good. We're on the play this time. We have a 1-drop removal spell into a Fear of Missing Out, so we're going to keep this. And yeah, Jadzi can do something. All right, really glad that we get to trade for a Land of War Elves here on turn 1. And we find a Winter Night Stories. Let's go Fear of Missing Out. Get the Winter Night Stories into the graveyard for a little bit of value there. And nice. We find an Abrade. Do we get to trade? So we get to Abrade Badgermole Cub. Are we going to do the really cute thing of... So we just Time Walk our opponent here. So... Abrade Badgermole Cub, return the land to their hand, get in for 2. I liked that. I'm not sure if that was right, but it was funny. And all right, let's go play Jadzi first. Draw 2. Nice. We find Agathas. We find Profs. Let's... What do we have in the graveyard? We actually don't have any creatures in the graveyard yet. But we want to keep Agathas. And we want to hit our land drop. So let's discard Floodmaw and Profs here. Feels a little bit bad to discard the Profs, but I want to keep developing our mana here. Pass the turn. Really just looking for a VV now to go with this Agatha Soul Cauldron. All right, we just find a Fire Magic. Let's go Winter Night Stories, tapping Jadzi. All right, just a bunch of lands. We have instant enchantment in the graveyard, so we'll discard Steam Vents. Honestly, discarding Agatha's Soul Cauldron here gives us Delirium. Discard Agatha's Soul Cauldron. Play the Verge and then get in. So we get in for 4. We're doing 2 extra damage. They attack us for 2. Sure. Really wish we had that Profs now. Oh, wow. Opponent's just trading here. Okay. Yeah, we'll get in for 2. Leave up Fire Magic plus Lightning Axe. Next turn, we might just make 2 2/2s, and 2 2/2s plus this Fear of Missing Out when we have a bunch of removal in hand should be pretty good against this deck. Opponent has a Seam Rip to go after the Fear of Missing Out. Do they have a way to trigger the Enduring Innocence this turn? And a Skyclave Apparition. Okay. Very strong turn from our opponent here. We're going to need a top deck now. Yep, that was about the best that they could have. And we just find a land. Well, yeah, we're in a little bit of trouble now. Enduring Innocence is very hard for our deck to beat. Quantum Riddler off the top is pretty good. We actually have enough mana. What is this? Thrun. Can't be countered. Indestructible Trample. Can't be the target of non-green spells. Okay. Well. That's certainly a card. Need a Quantum Riddler. It's probably our best draw. We draw Fear of Missing Out. Let's discard this Lightning Axe. Just to Steam Vents, and I think we have one more turn next turn to draw a Quantum Riddler. All right, opponent floats a white, floats a green, floats a green, floats a colorless, plays a Collected Company, plays an Ophioi. We did not play around that very well. So we can kill the Skyclave Apparition. Yeah. We're pretty dead here. We're taking 6. Yep, it needs to be Quantum Riddler this turn. Spire Bluff Canal, we'll scoop it up. And something happened and all the Selesnya players just disappeared. Where I think it's still probably a tier 1 deck. It always feels very strong when I play against it. All right, we are on the draw here. We're against Yorion, so is it blue-white or blue-black? This hand's really bad against both blue-white and blue-black, so we're going to mulligan it. We'll keep this, put the Lightning Axe on the bottom. Potentially 5-color Niv. Okay, yeah, so it's actually just 5-color Niv. Quantum Riddler, Profs. Let's go Profs, make the Jazri big next turn. All right, nice. We find Steam Vents, get this Verge turned on. Next turn we can discard this Vivi and set up for an Agatha's on the following turn. We're totally fine with this, trading for a removal spell here. Discard Vivi, discard Sokenzan. Yeah, discard Vivi, discard Sokenzan. Oh, wow, and we're super fine with that. Our Jadri gets eroded, so we get another island. So this might just be a control list. Doesn't look like Niv. So we can play Agatha's here. And then go warp a Quantum Riddler. Draw a card and then activate our Agatha's. Exile our own Vivi, put a 1/1 counter. Is this going to resolve? Oh, wow. Okay, so this is just the crazy part of the deck now. So now we add, let's do 2 red, 3 blue. 3 red, 2 blue. Because we have, 3 red, 2 blue. Play a Mako. And play a Fear of Missing Out. Are we discarding second Agathas here? That's really risky. But they would have used a removal spell on this one. We draw another Vivi, and let's cast this Winter Night Stories. Okay, we have a backup Agathas now. Let's put another Vivi in the graveyard for backup Agathas. And, oh, that's right. This Mako now has counters on it. Let's be done for now. Odds they have a sweeper are very high. So let's just go blue, blue, red. Cast this Winter Night Stories. Man, this deck is so awesome. Discard. Let's decline here. Discard Spire Bluff Canal, torch the tower. Make this Mako bigger and just cycle this Profs. Oh, we can just keep going. So we draw a card. We go to combat. Now we can put a ton of counters on this fear of missing out. But we don't have any more card draw. All right, let's just pass a turn. Odds they have a sweeper here are very high, but man, what a awesome turn. That is... All right, so yeah, opponent has the temporary lockdown. Super obvious sweeper from them. But we have backup Agathas with backup Vivi in the graveyard. Get this Mutavault down. Get Agathas down. Mako. Fear of missing out. Discard Spire Bluff Canal. Trigger Mako. Activate Agathas. Yep, same thing. Exile Vivi, put a counter on this fear of missing out this time. And let's go add blue, warp a Quantum Riddler, draw 3, or draw 2, go up to 3. And we don't want to put this temporary lockdown back in their hand, though. So let's just hard cast Vivi now. Leave up into the Floodmaw past the turn. Past the turn, Quantum Riddler goes away. But we're now our opponent now has to answer our board again, and we just have these Quantum Riddlers on standby to draw us more cards. Our opponent plays a Fabled Passage for turn. Cracks the Fabled Passage. Oh, that's right. On their end step, we can just return this temporary lockdown. They cast a Wistfulness. Sorry, when this enters, exile target artifact or enchantment. And draw 2, discard 2. Okay. This resolves. They're going to exile our Agathas. Agatha's down. Draw 2, discard 2. But in their end step, we're just going to give them a fish. And what's under this? Profs, Fear of Missing Out, Mako, another Agatha's. Yeah. So they go to attacks. End step, give them a fish, return this temporary lockdown, and we are going to go nuts next turn. But we don't get to go nuts because they concede. All right, we are against 4 color elementals from the looks of it. Almost looks like the old 4 color elementals list from Modern of Old. That's just a pile of value cards. So let's go. Disdainful Stroke actually is pretty good against them. Disdainful Stroke's in. Mystical Dispute in. Spider Sense a little bit specific. Do we want the Ral? Let's look at cuts first. Torch the Towers, pretty easy cut. Lightning Axe is an easy cut. I think let's click submit like this. Nothing else that we really want to get rid of. The real question is our opponent on any non-rare, non-mythic cards in their entire deck? We did see Basic Force, but that might be the only one. All right. This hand is all right. It needs to not draw any more lands. But we do have the turn 1 Mako, turn 2 Warp or Riddler, play a Vivi. Opponent's on a mulligan to 5 here. And they play a Sparas. Verge, Mako, pass. Opponent plays a High Noon. This is a little bit annoying, but we can pretty easily answer that. Get Fear Missing Out into play, and I think we're just discarding a land here. Discard a land, trigger Mako, get in for 2. We're at 1, just land in the graveyard. Okay, wow. So opponent just mulliganed for their white sideboard cards. We're just going to start leaving up this Mystical Dispute now. Are we finding Into the Floodmaw? We have a lot of blue, so let's play this on blue, and opponent scoops it up. All right. So 4-color pile of rares and mythics is nothing for Marauding Mako. We are on the play here in the next match. We have Into the Floodmaw, Prof's Idyllic Memory, Winterstone Stories to discard a Vivi. This hand looks great. Prof's on turn 2. Just need to find an Agatha's plus a creature to get some counters on. All right, we find another Spire Bluff Canal. Need to stop drawing lands. All right, another Winter Night Stories. Looks like our next turn is likely just Winter Night Stories discarding this Vivi. And then hopefully we find a creature to start putting some counters on. Torgal, a Fine Hound. Whenever you cast your first human spell, that creature enters with an additional 1/1 counter for each wolf and each dog. And it's a mana dork. Respect. Play a Verge. Play a Winter Night Stories. Discard a Vivi Orniteer. We drew a ton of lands off of that. Next turn we can go Vivi plus Into the Floodmaw. Won't have enough mana to Winter Night Stories then. Alternatively, we go Mutavault. Nah, still don't have enough mana. We'll see what we draw. Could just be casting another Mutavault Stories to discard some lands next turn. All right, Summon Fenrir. Search your library for a basic. Whenever you cast a creature spell, enters with a 1/1 counter on it. Draw a card. Okay. Kind of cool deck from our opponent here. All right, so we drew Torch the Tower. Let's take the, I don't want to say control, but let's kill their creatures this turn. Go after, draw a card if you control a creature with the greatest power or tied. Let's Torch the Tower, the Mana Dork. No. Let's go after the Fenrir. Are we into the... Sure, let's go with the tempo play. We have so much card draw in our hand that we just need to not die for a turn. And if their turn is just replaying Torgar... All right, they have a Petrified Hamlet. People love this card in Pioneer. I don't know why. I don't know why people are so obsessed with this card in Pioneer. An opponent scoops it up. I think if you can, like if you're specifically blue-white control and you can afford like a colorless land, it's all right. Or if you have a way to tutor for it, it can be okay as a one-of, but man, people just love those kinds of effects, even if they're not super great. All right, so against mono or some green collected company wolf pile, let's just bring in Anger of the Gods, Fire Magic, go down the Fable 1 Kid Loki. Click submit. Cool to see that People are still trying to brew. Opponent's on a mulligan to 6 as well. We're on a mulligan to 6. We have a Mako, we have a Vivi, we have an Anger. We're going to keep this, put a basic island onto the bottom. And opponent is in the tank on their 6. They have kept their 6. We will put an island to the bottom. Opponent has an Elvish Mystic. We will raise them a 1-drop 2 and play a Marauding Mako. A little bit of tension here with the double Mako and the Anger hand. All right, opponent just turn 2, summon Fenrir's. Gets a mountain. We draw a Lightning Axe. Yeah, our hand's actually a little bit awkward. We're going to play second Mako. Yeah. It's going to feel pretty bad if we have to Anger next turn. Hoping to not be forced to and be able to grow these Makos a little bit so they survive the Anger. Opponent has a Collected Company. Yeah, looks like... Yeah, I don't love this, but... I guess we're just trading here and then untapping and angering. Alright. Yeah, don't... A little bit of regret for casting the 2 Makos, but... They had a very, very strong start. Potentially we'll play game 3 a little bit differently. Opponent has a Cindervines. Okay. That's a little bit annoying, but not just game over. We'll play Vivi. Not sure what removal they have access to all the red removal. Opponent has a Llanowar Elves and a Rending Volley for our Vivi. We draw Verge, cast this Winterlight Stories, take 1 from the Cindervines. And we have a Vivi in the graveyard. Alternatively, we discard Spirebluff Canal, Lightning Axe. I like that better. Discard Spirebluff Canal, discard Lightning Axe. Play a Verge for turn, pass. If they play any more Mana Dorks, we can Fire Magic them away. Next turn, we're VVing. Opponent has another Cindervines. Alright, let's... That's annoying. That is annoying for sure. Let the Cindervines resolve. Okay, and really glad we let the Cindervines... I mean, we do have to take 2, but we get to kill both Llanowar Elves now. Alright, take 2. So theoretically, we only get 8 non-creature spells this game. We draw a Quantum Riddler. Let's go Profs. If we go Profs and draw a land, it's crazy. I don't love that we're taking 2 here for just drawing 1 card. Oh, love the... Okay. Love this trade here. And we just draw Fear of Missing Out. Just warp a Quantum Riddler. Pass the... See if we draw a land. We don't draw a land. Pass the turn. Opponent is on 2 cards in hand. Cindervines in play. Mutavault on the battlefield. They play a Reckless Stormseeker, which gives itself haste and gets in for 3. This can give anything. All right, let's cast Vivi. Vivi actually a pretty good blocker here, and just leave up this into the Floodmaw for tempo. So our opponent have another removal, so they have a Stomping Ground untapped. They have a removal spell for Vivi, just a Llanowar Elf. Okay. And they are going to activate Mutavault. So do we go now on the Into the Floodmaw? No. So let's see what they target with this. They're going to target the Llanowar Elf. We return Llanowar Elf to their hand, block Reckless. Alternatively, we return Mutavault. Yep, okay. So block Llanowar Elf, return Mutavault to our opponent's hand. We take one from the Cindervines, but this makes it so the Mutavault can't attack as easy next turn. They have to target it with the Reckless Stormseeker. And if we draw a removal spell, then the Mutavault can't attack next turn. All right, we draw Fear of Missing Out. Let's just cast these Fear of Missing Outs. They're great blockers. Discard Jotzi. We draw another Vivi. Discard this Vivi with this Fear of Missing Out. We draw Steam Vents. Steam Vents tapped past the turn. No attacks with Vivi. Go on defense here. We have a Quantum Riddler on standby for next turn. We're down to 7. So we only get 6 more non-creature spells this game. Oh, opponent has another Reckless Stormseeker. So I think we're going to be trading a Fear of Missing Out away this turn. Yeah, so we'll trade a Fear of Missing Out, take 3, go to 4. Yeah. Oh, sorry, we get blown out here. That's my bad. I forgot about this. But honestly, trading the Cindervines for a Fear of Missing Out is not the worst trade for us. Yeah, now our non-creatures spells are unlocked again. Let's just go Mako Quantum Riddler. Yes, if you have 1 or fewer and you draw that many +1. So we don't have to cast Mako first. Cast Quantum Riddler. Draw 2. We find just 2 lands. Play the Verge and this can untap any creature. Whenever this creature attacks, if there are 4 or more, untap target creature. Okay, so we get to Winterlight Stories tapping the Quantum Riddler. Discard Mako. Cast Fear of Missing Out. Discard land. Draw Agatha's. Okay, so we'll win next turn as long as we don't die. And we're not going to attack with Vivi here. Pass the turn. We have 3 blockers. They have 3 attackers. They can give anything they draw haste. They just draw land. Okay. So I think we're winning here. And opponent passes. Okay, so play. We have a Vivi in the graveyard. All right, cast Agatha's. We should be winning this turn. Activate Agatha's. Exile Vivi. What does this do? Oh, gets +2/+2 and trample. Plus up on, put a counter on the Quantum Riddler. We now have a ton of mana. Let's go with a Winterlight Stories. Draw 3. I think we want the... No, Kid Loki can't get a counter on him this turn, so just discard the Kid Loki. Let's go flashback Winterlight Stories. Tap the... Oh, we just have lethal, don't we? I'm not sure. Let's play through this. Renew with the deck. I want to see the lines here. So, yeah, tap the Quantum Riddler. All right, we're discarding land. All right, play... Tap this Quantum Riddler for blue, red. Play Profs. Man, this deck is awesome. Cast a Profs, draw a card. Play another Winterlight Stories. Trigger VV again. Yeah, opponent's super dead here. All right, draw 2. We discard 2 more Agathas. We have 1 on the battlefield. We don't need another one. Sure. Play this Mutavault. And now we go to combat. Put a ton of counters onto VV. 17 counters onto VV. Attack with the fear of missing out. Untap VV. Untap Quantum Riddler. And sure, go to blocks. Opponent is fighting the good fight here. All right, they... Sure, go to blocks. I was going to type the likes of tweaking the lands in sideboard. Okay, yeah, I'll take a look at it for sure. I want to see. All right, opponent double blocks our fear of missing outs. This just kills them, right? Because VV gets to untap and attack. Oh, no, sorry, because these won't die. Okay. So we'll... Oh, we can't do this. Okay, so sure. Lose our fear of missing outs. Add a ton of mana. Oh, we're still in combat. Okay, sorry. Undo. I don't think we have a way to win. Okay, so go. Oh, wow. Sorry. I forgot about this synergy. Opponent is dead. Fear of missing out plus Profs is so crazy. I keep forgetting about that. What an insane turn from our opponent. This deck does some crazy things. We are on the play again. Wow, we've been winning a lot of die rolls today. Keep this. Start off with a mountain, make them think we're on mono red. Okay, so we get our, we get our wish. Not sure if it's a good thing we're against Golgari, but we're going to find out. Get Profs down. Profs plus Fable is a lot of pressure on its own. I don't see this Fable token living, but odds that this Fable token gets Fatal pushed are very high. Thank you for your service, Goblin Shaman. Put it as a second Mutavault into a Graveyard Trespasser. So we can torch the tower this. So this turn we can discard... It's just Winterlight Stories. Discard Sokinzon. Our hand's actually pretty good. Get some value. Yeah, put the Winterlight Stories into the graveyard. We're killing this Graveyard Trespasser this turn. Let's go Pathway on blue. Torch the tower on Graveyard Trespasser. Sacrifice the Profs Eideck Memory. And discard... So sorry, what's in our graveyard? We have enchantment, sorcery, land. So just discard Mutavault. Mako goes to bottom. We just want likely Soul Cauldron at this point. Play this Fear of Missing Out and discard. Ooh. Torch the tower, pass the turn. So we have Fable flipping. We have Fear of Missing Out next turn. Want to dodge a Shieldred. Looks like we're... Okay, just a Badger Mole Cub. What does our opponent have for 3 mana? Second Graveyard Trespasser. That's rough. They get to turn off Delirium here. We find Jadzi. Play a land. I guess we're just playing Jadzi here. I don't love this. We need a Quantum Riddler. All right. We found a lot of our profs. Okay, we draw Vivi. Let's go counters onto Jadzi. No attacks. Stay on defense. We can use Reflection to draw 2 and discard 2 every turn. Okay, just kidding. Our opponent has a removal spell for Jadzi. So alternatively, we can use Reflection to discard and draw a card every turn with Fear of Missing Out. If opponent casts a Delian, destroys our Jadzi, and doesn't attack. All right, we find a Winterlight Stories. That is good enough to cast here. We'd really like to find Agatha's. We don't find Agatha's. We are going to discard Vivi. Just keep hitting our lands. Yeah, let's leave up Reflection activate. Well, so we attack with Fear of Missing Out here. No, let's just leave up. Make a Fear of Missing Out token plus into the Floodmaw. Alright. Oh, that's right. So we go to oh my gosh, I always forget about this. Okay. Go to combat. Make Fear of Missing Out giant. Attack Delian. Untap the Fear of Missing Out. Alright, let's kill the Delian. Yeah, go to combat again. Are we making Reflection big or just a huge Fear of Missing Out? Now let's make Reflection big too. And no attacks. Tap our Fear of Missing Out. Cast this Winterlight Stories. Okay, nice. We find Agatha's. Discard. Discard Voldaren Thrillseeker. No, discard second copy of Fear of Missing Out. Discard Voldaren Thrillseeker to the ward. And wait, do we just win here? Oh, I think we could have won here. Oh no, our opponent's at 16. Okay. We cast this. Exile Vivi. We can make 5 more mana. Okay. Agatha's Soul Cauldron. Exile Vivi. Put a 1/1 counter on the Fear of Missing Out. Now we can't... How does this read exactly? Put 2 1/1 counters on target creature. If that's another creature, we can sacrifice it to do damage. Okay, so just cast this. Let's go 2 counters onto Fear of Missing Out or onto the Thrill Seeker. 2 counters onto the Fear of Missing Out. Make a copy of Thrill Seeker. Back up to, let's go 2 copies on the new Thrill Seeker. Make some blue mana. Can we kill our opponent here? Oh, sorry, this does not have... No, so we can't kill our opponent here. So let's just go sacrifice this. Kill Badger Mole Cub. And pass the turn. Okay. I don't know if there was a way we could have killed our opponent there. We won the game. This deck has so much going on here. All right. Oh, blue-white affinity is live. Okay, I'll take a look at it after this game. This deck just has so much going on. All right, let's bring in Ral, cut 1 Kid Loki, click submit. This deck is super grindy. So our Golgari matchup should be fine. Pull up this deck list while we're waiting for our opponent. This deck almost feels like it's cheating with some of the stuff that it gets to do. All right. Again, MTG Goldfish, I promise that I'm a human. All right, blue-white affinity. 4 Ornithopter, 4 Swooping Lookout. Okay, so just 1/1 artifact creature. Lupine Prototype. Oh, Patchwork Automaton. I forgot that that's in Pioneer. Yeah, that's okay. That's really good. Oh, and we just have Memory Guardian, Valkyrie Aerial Unit. Oh, there's a lot of affinity cards. Wait a second. And you were saying that is his name Krarg? The card that draws 4 when it enters just didn't make the cut for this deck. It seems like Krarg is just a perfect fit for this. Oh, Krang. I need to read that card again. It does... Where is... Okay, opponent is back. We have a Mako, a Fear Missing Out, and some Winterlight Stories. Let's keep this. We'll get back to blue-white affinity. All right, opponent has a Thoughtseize. Krang is mono blue. He didn't make it for the... Oh, I see. Yeah, there is a little bit of tension there between the prototype and Krong. Our opponent just on a tap land. Really nice to not get Badger Mole Cubbed here. Let's warp this Quantum Riddler. Super obvious Fatal Push from our opponent here. We'll trade for the Fatal Push at some point, but it is nice to get a little bit of tempo. But it has the Graveyard Trespasser. We have a removal spell for the first one. We'll see if they have a second Graveyard Trespasser. But this turn, let's just double spell. No, well, whatever we discard just gets eaten by the Graveyard Trespasser. So let's go Lightning Axe. Oh, wow. Do we... So we have to 3-for-1 ourselves to kill this Graveyard Trespasser? And that's probably fine. We have the... And let's discard FOMO. No, discard Kid Loki. The only reason I'm okay with doing that is because we have this Quantum Riddler to refill our hand. Alright, does opponent have... We have Delirium. Opponent just plays a Shieldred. Okay, that feels horrible that we just discarded this Lightning Axe now. Alright, yeah, this is a disaster. Yeah, I think we just lose. Let's go. So we play this, take 6. Oh, man. I hate Shieldred. Yeah, we don't have a way to get this Lightning Axe back. Well, we are very punished for Lightning Axing that Graveyard Trespasser. Ooh, okay. Cast Winterlight Stories. Take 6. Goodness. Yep. Ow. Play Verge. Play Mako. No attacks. See what our opponent's follow-up is here. We're dead to a lot of things. Pretty punished for using our Lightning Axe there. But Graveyard Trespasser is also such a big issue. Opponent has a Delian. They draw a card, gain a life. And they don't even get in with the Shieldred. We take 2. We draw a land. All right, let's go to game 3. Do we have anything in the sideboard? Do we want Brazen Borrower for... Actually, unable to scream in... Okay, actually, let's bring in Disdainful Stroke. And Brazen Borrower? Nah, Brazen Borrower was a little bit slow. I don't know, it does answer Shieldred, though. Let's go Torch the Towers out. Oh, excuse me. And Jadzi out. Click Submit. Okay, alright. Krong. Affinity for artifacts. When Krong enters, if you have fewer than 4 cards in hand, draw a card equal to the difference. Gets +1/+1. I think that Krong is probably the direction you want to go. All right, we're on the play, but with a 1-lander. Mulligan to another 1-lander. We'll keep this. Put back Brazen Borrower. Now let's keep the Brazen Borrower, put back the Into the Flood Maw. I mean, double Quantum Riddler when you've mulliganed is kind of what you want to see. Yeah, all right, we're getting Thought Seized when we have Quantum Riddler in our hand. We're fine with going down to, 0 cards. We need to hit a land. We don't hit a land. Pass the turn. We're not just out of the opponent's on a mulligan too. Opponent has a Badger Cub. Okay, we hit the land. Let's return. Let's just do it now. Or are we quantum riddling? So we return Badger Mole. We get in for 2. That lets them reanimate another land. I don't really like that. Let's just Riddler. Okay, we find a third land. No attacks. Riddler goes away. But fun-wise, having a Flying and Vigilant 5/5 is there. That, the fun factor cannot be underestimated. Opponent has the Shieldred, but we have an answer for this. But I think so we return Shieldred, and then we're just not doing anything else this turn. But I also hate River Knight Storiesing and taking 6. Man, Shieldred's so lame. Sure. Return Shieldred. No attacks. Opponent replays the Shieldred. Oh, this card is so boring. And we just draw a bunch of card draw. Well, looks like we are losing to Shieldred. Cast Winterlight Stories. Discard Fear of Missing Out. We have 1 turn, but we don't really even have much we can draw. Well, I think our sideboard needs more answers to this card. That's my first immediate impression. Take 4, go to 6, go to 4 off the draw for turn. Yeah, so we have to top deck. Have to top deck a Lightning Axe or a removal spell for Shieldred. Opponent has an Unholy Annex. Wow, they have had just the absolute god hands in these last 2 games. Opponent is back up to 13. We draw a Mako, and we are dead. Well, all right, we're on the play. Land heavy hand, but we have a Fear Missing Out to get rid of one of them, so we're going to keep this. And go Spire Bluff Canal into Marauding Mako. I love that this card is not limited to 1 counter per turn. All right, we draw a Quantum Riddler for turn. Let's just go Fear of Missing Out, discard this second Steam Vents. Trigger the Mako. Get in for 2. Top 7, reveal 2 card. Oh, put them into hand. So not quite as good as Coco. Oh, but yeah, with all the affinity cards, you should be able to immediately play them again. So Breeding Pool, Undercity Sewers, Surveil Essence Flux. All right, play Verge, cast Winterlight Stories. Wow, opponent has a Stubborn Denial. Sure, get in for 4, pass the turn. I have no idea what our opponent's on here. Breeding Pool, Undercity Sewers, Essence Flux, Stubborn Denial, Otawara. We'll see. Oh, is this the... Okay, it's the... what's the... It's the Neoform. Oh, I'm blanking. Neoform into... the Octopus, Oculus, Abhorrent Oculus deck. Well, they have had a pretty decent hand into what we're doing. Let's just warp this Riddler, and then we get to harmonize this Winterlight Stories. All right, we find a Profs. Do we have I think we can force a chump here with, so we've drawn 1, 2, put X counters where X is -1, so we'll have drawn 3 cards, so we're putting 2 counters on the Mako 2 times, so we don't have lethal yet, but we can do a lot of damage. Alternatively, we just Winterlight Stories. Now let's get profs down. Oh, sorry, we don't have Delirium. Oh, that's okay. My bad. I forgot that we needed Delirium for this. All right, we draw Jadzi. Looks like our opponent has a Fatal Push here. So because it looks like they have a Fatal Push, let's go counters on the Mako, keep this Fear of Missing Out protected. Wow, opponent's chumping here. Oh, they have another Essence Flux. Okay. So they're going to have an Abhorrent Oculus next turn. So there's the Neo form. They get back, starting town. Quantum Riddler goes away. The question is, can we beat an Abhorrent Oculus? We can outgrind. We go over the top of it. Just depends on how much interaction they have after the Abhorrent Oculus. We've gotten through 1 Stubborn Denial. Oh, they get in for 1 and now they Oculus? Alright, so opponent puts an Oculus into play. I also really dig you white for the Basilisk Collar. Alright. Let's start with a Winterlight Stories, a harmonized Winterlight Stories. See if this gets a... Oh, this just insta-resolves. Okay. Can we wait a turn? I don't think so. So discard Spire Bluff Canal, Mountain. Just land in the graveyard. Play Jadzi. Is there any way that we get Delirium off of this? If we draw another Fear of Missing Out, we can get Delirium. This also sets us up for next turn a lot better. So play Jadzi. Discard Creature Enchantment. And we want to keep Kid Loki around. It makes... No, put Creature... Yeah, Creature Enchantment. Fable the Mirror Breaker is just too slow. Here, make Mako an 8/8. And let's go Steam Vents tapped, make Jadzi huge. No attacks. So we're taking 6 from the Oculus this turn. They have an Archaeologist. Do they have a second Oculus? They mill a Quantum Riddler. They play untapped Watery Fountain. We're fine, though. We can go over the top of this. We have 2 huge creatures. We're going to start attacking for lethal, untapping stuff with Fear of Missing Out starting next turn. And opponent gets in for 6. That's a bold attack here with us so close to just attacking for lethal. All right, opponent puts a Stubborn Denial into the graveyard. All right, we draw an Agatha's. We just need to find a VV now. All right, so since we're on the find VV plan, cast Winterlight Stories. We don't find VV. We find a Voldaren Thrill Seeker. This also wins, right? So we just discard the Thrill Seeker. Mako becomes a 9/9. Play a land. Oh, we don't have enough mana. Oh, wait, yeah, we do. Okay, yep. So play Cauldron. exile Thrill Seeker, put a counter onto Mako, and then sacrifice the Mako to do 10 damage to our opponent. All right, we get there. Vivi also would have won that off the top. We had so many outs there. Let's go. We are against Sultai Abhorrent Oculus. Aether Gust is really good here because they still have to sacrifice the creature and then the spell goes on top. Let's go Spider Sense in Mystical Disputes in... I don't think... They're not reliant enough on their great... but this also shuts off... Sure, we'll bring this in. And let's go down the removal spells. Torch the Tower is just too slow. We can cut the Fable. We can cut one Profs, one Jazri, one... Probably want one Kid Loki. I've yet to play against this. I think this Sultai deck, I've played against it a few times. I think it looks really fun. The way I think of their deck is it's basically what Delver would look like if you... Delver's a bad example. It's... Yeah, I'm not sure how to explain. It's a cool deck. All right, so they get the Neoform, so we need to... we get a really cool line here. So we can play untapped Steam Vents, attack with the Mako. Yep, they block. And now we can Web Slinging. Yep, so they're going to Neoform. Oh, they Narset. All right, that's really bad. Opponent Narsets, opponent minuses. So we have to answer this at some point. Our opponent has a change the equation. We draw a land. I think we can go shields down for one turn for playing this Ashiok. Cast Ashiok. Start the milling. We just hit a lot of lands. Okay. Zombify. No attacks. My Delvers wouldn't play Narset. Yeah, it's a little bit slower than Delver. When Delver came to mind, it's the fact that they're using like Oculus and then the rest of the deck is interaction. But okay, opponent just discards the Neoform. But we cannot do anything until this Narset's off the battlefield. So let's mill them again. They are at threat of just getting milled out. All right, play Riverglide Pathway. Attack Narset with the Mako. Again, we're doing this to turn Web Slinging on. Cast Vivi, pass the turn. I'm going to trade with to change the equation here. But we get to Spider Sense this, return the Mako. If they have another 1-mana counterspell to go with this, then it's not great, but it's not the end of the world. Have they... Okay, they just Essence Flux the Phalange. Looks like they're looking for... Oh, they mill in a Traxa? Alright, do they have a Zombify for the Atraxa this turn? Was not expecting that. Okay, just a Quantum Riddler. That's beatable. Quantum Riddler goes away. Alright, we draw land. Exile this Atraxa. Opponent is down to 28 cards in their deck, but we still do not have a way to get this Narset off the battlefield. What's in our graveyard? We just have a Spider Sense. Play Agatha Soul Cauldron, trigger Vivi. Just pass the turn, cycle Mako on their turn. I don't want to Mind Twist ourselves by casting any of these cards. Narset is being super annoying. Would be nice if opponent would play something with an activated ability, but I don't think they're going to do that. Alright, opponent passes, cycle this Mako. Alright, find another Ashiok. Are we just milling our opponent out this game? We can make Vivi a 2-2, but that still doesn't get it in. Alright. Mill our opponent. Opponent is down to 23 cards in the deck. Play an island, and yeah, we're not going to Mind Twist ourselves, so I don't think I'm missing anything here. Yep, Vivi can't really attack. This is not a May. Pass the turn. Next turn they go down to 18 cards in their deck, and then this second Ashiok. Actually, a little bit risky here to minus this first Ashiok, because if this one gets countered, then they can put a whatever into play. So let's not just YOLO this Ashiok into a counter spell. Opponent's down to 18 cards in hand. Just a Mako in the graveyard. Let's leave this Spirebluff Canal in hand. Maybe next turn we can cast this Jadzi. Alright, opponent hard casts a Quantum Riddler. Draws a card. They're down to 16 cards in hand. Let's exile our Mako, make Vivi one bigger. Alright, make Vivi bigger. Opponent discards a Neoform to hand size. We just draw another Vivi. Oh, okay, what are we doing here? Cast Jadzi. Draw no cards. But then this gives us Oracle's Gift, which lets us finally attack this Narset. We're losing our Ashiok next turn. So mill them for 4. Opponent is down to 12 cards in their deck, so they are at threat of milling out. Yeah, I mean, I hate this too, but discard these. Tap Agatha's. Exile Vivi. Go counter onto Jadzi, and then how much can we cast this for? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we can go X equals 4. Make 4 4/4s. And, oh, that's kind of cute. So now we can cast Fear of Missing Out for no reason. Sure. Well, we have infinite mana. And now we can't attack. But next, we got lethal on board. We'll see if their deck has a random sweeper in it. I'm not convinced that they're playing a random sweeper. Opponent kills Ashiok. They can put... Alright, they cast another Quantum Riddler. Do they have any Neoforms left? One Neoform, two Neoforms. So they have two Neoforms left in the deck. So they Neoform into a... I keep forgetting the name of that card. Abhorrent Oculus. But they should still be dead to our 4/4 Fractals. Kind of funny that this ended up being the card that won us this game. Narset and Shieldred seem to be very big problems for this deck. Okay, so they Neoform into... nothing. Okay. GG. Kill our opponents. Well, through the Narset, we get there. Let's go. Against a lot of them. We'll see if it's blue-white control. We've already played against 4-color Yorion Elementals this turn. All right, Sunken Citadel on white. So this is... All right, we're getting a taste of our own medicine here. We are against the 80-card Boros Land Destruction deck. We're on 4 basics, which is not a ton of basics against this deck. Opponent, Lightning Helix is our first creature. But then we get to follow up with a Fear of Missing Out. We're going to discard one of our 2 Fear of Missing Outs. Just for the types, get enchantment into the graveyard. Opponent has a Demolition Field. And they're doing this in the upkeep. If you play this deck, you should be doing, like, there's no reason to be doing this. You just give your opponent more mana on their turn. We are not torching anything this turn, so... don't have to worry there. We're going to play this second Fear of Missing Out. Oh, nice. We find a Profs. So we have creature, enchantment, land. All right, so play Fear of Missing Out. All right, so opponent has another Lightning Helix, which is not great for us. And we whiff on lands. Get in for 2. This is going to die. Oh. Very surprised that those live. Does this just mean that our opponent has a sweeper? Just a Field of Ruin onto the Verge. It's fine. Grab a mountain. And do they have an Avengers Disassembled is game over here. And looks like that's what they have. All right, we'll go ahead and go to game number 2 here. All right, we are against 80-card Boros Land Destruction. Spider Sense seems good. Counters all of their land destruction. Aether Gust just buys us a turn, but probably good enough. Let's bring in Ral. This stops their Field of Ruins, but it's a little bit slow. Let's look at what we're taking out first. So Torch the Towers out. Lightning Axe out. And we're at exactly 60. There's nothing else we really have to bring in. Let's click Submit. Not exactly sure how this matchup goes. We were on the draw there, and they had 4 pieces of land destruction, with one of them being a sweeper, so that's why that one felt bad. All right, opponent's on a mulligan to 6 here. We have double Mako and an Agatha, so just need a Vivi to go with these Makos and we'll be off to the races. And opponent is on another Sunken Citadel. Let's get Agathas down. This is the highest upside. If we discard a Vivi, yeah, again, you should be doing this on your turn. There's no reason to be giving your opponents extra mana on their turn. Don't believe there's anything we can draw into. We'll float a blue anyway. If our opponent has an erode to follow this up, it's pretty bad. Get an island. Wish Midnight Stories was an instant. Go to our draw. Okay, we draw Basic Mountain. That's a disaster. Play Winterlight Stories. Discard Mako. Go to combat, get in. Sure, we'll exile this Mako. Get an extra counter on this Mako. Get in for 3. Yeah, we need to dodge removal spell on Mako. All right, just a Cleansing Wildfire. So that is, we have 2 more basics. Get our island. Our opponent is new with this deck. They should have gone after a basic there. All right, play a Verge. And so we can cycle Mako. No, let's play this Mako. We need to get more creatures on the battlefield. And now we can take a turn off, tap this one. Okay, we have 1 mana left. Sure, we can discard. Discard a Quantum Riddler? Yeah. We want to keep these lands. Against the land destruction deck, let's keep lands in our hand and pass the turn. Yeah. Pass the turn. One Mako is safe from an Avengers Disassembled. Opponent has a Price of Freedom. Sure. I don't think there's anything we can do with this blue. Grab our last basic. Does our opponent... They played a land this turn. They don't have another land destruction spell. Okay. Activate this. Exile the Quantum Riddler. Grow. Let's grow this Mako. Get them. All right, we just draw another land. Kind of hate that. Play a Quantum Riddler. We just need to find Vivi. We just find a Profs. Play Profs. All right, we find a Spider Sense, so let's Pathway on blue. Grow this Mako. We're presenting lethal with a Spider Sense up. Riddler goes away. Pass the turn. We have Flashback covered. We have... All right, float a blue. We are out of basics, so our opponent knows that we're on... Yeah, so if they go second main and then cast a sweeper, we're dead. I think. Yep, so opponent has the Day of Judgment. Our hand's full of lands. We're gonna keep trying. Cast this Quantum Riddler. Alright, draw Fear of Missing Out. Memory onto the Riddler. Opponent has to keep Answering cards. All right, Legend of Roku's fine here. This does not save them, and we'll be able to kill them next turn. All right, they do find a Get Lost for the Quantum Riddler. Very good find from our opponent here. We'll see if they just feel to ruin this Mutavault, we should be able to win. All right, and they realize Quantum Riddler down. Make some maps. Go to our turn. We draw Kid Loki. So can we... How many cards do we need to draw this turn? This is 2. We would have to draw 5 cards this turn. That seems a little bit unreasonable. Man, Vivi just makes this game so easy. Cast his Fear of Missing Out. Discard a Spire Bluff Canal. Draw another Spire Bluff Canal. Play a Verge. Play a Kid Loki. This lets us instant speed give our creatures hexproof with the Agatha's Soul Cauldron. And let's just leave up Spider Sense so we can crack 1 map. Sure. So crack 1 map on the Fear of Missing Out. Oh, Thrill Seeker into the graveyard. Does that win? That doesn't just win yet, but it gets us very close. Pass the turn. All right, opponent concedes. Yeah, they didn't really have a way out of that. Are we changing anything for game number 3? Disdainful Stroke does counter a lot of their high impact cards. Let's bring in Disdainful Stroke and cut... Are we just cutting the... Nah, Ral seems very good. It's kind of hard for them to beat Ral. 1 Mako, 1 into the Floodmaw? Sure, let's go down 1 into the Floodmaw. All right, game 3 against Boros Land Destruction. Our opponent is... We're good on... Oh my gosh, and we have no lands. All right, opponent is also on a mulligan to 6. Quantum Riddler, Fears of Missing Out. Yeah, we're going to keep this. Put back... Is it Agatha? No, put back 1 FOMO. All right, we're good on clock. Steam Vent's tapped, pass the turn. And Steam Vent's down. Grab an island. Spire Bluff Canal. Fear of Missing Out. Let's just discard land. Okay, we natty draw basic. Hate that. Opponent has another piece of land destruction. Okay, no, they have no more targeted. We natty draw another land. That could lose us the game. All right, profs. Let's see if they have a removal spell for Fear of Missing Out. Get in for 3. No removal spell for FOMO. The fact that we've drawn 2 basics is very bad for us. All right, they don't have a Field of Ruin. All right, just to turn 4 Legend of Roku, and they hit land, Price of Freedom, Wear Tear. All right, if they want to Wear Tear our profs, we're fine with that. This turn, let's... Hello, Arena? Get a Mako down. Land plus an Agatha's. Get in for 3. And we're setting up for a big turn next turn. We have Flashback covered with the Agathas. They do get to get rid of our last basic this turn. We'll see if they decide. So they can wear tear both of these, but they can wear tear both of these plus Price of Freedom, but they're just taking so much damage on board. We can follow up with a second Profs. And this drew a card, so. Alright, they go tear on the FOMO. Sure. And then play Mountain, cast Price of Freedom. Yeah, so we're not in a great spot here. Price of Freedom on the FOMO. Alright, this is our last basic. Again, really unlucky that we drew 2 basics. Here, do they have another Price of Freedom for Agatha's? Second main. They have Avengers Disassembled. I don't think we can beat Avengers Disassembled here. Yeah, that's really bad. All right, we are out of basics. Play. Yeah, yikes. I think we're pretty cooked here. Play second Profs. Just another one. Yeah, this Quantum Riddler is going to have to carry us, but our opponent has 5 cards in hand. Well, I think we're dying to the monster that we created. Yep, another Field of Ruin. We'll go ahead and scoop it up. Well, a little bit brutal to lose to our own deck in a pretty close match that went to 3. If we didn't draw 2 of our basics in that third one, I think we would have probably been able to win. But the fact that we were getting strip mined after only 2 strip mine effects from them was brutal. I also want to comment, if you are a fellow Boros land destruction player, you should not be playing Get Lost in your deck. I feel pretty passionately about this. You are trying to destroy people's lands. You should not be playing a card that gives your opponent lands in your land destruction deck. You should be playing Erode. Erode destroys creatures. Erode destroys planeswalkers. Against most decks in Pioneer, that card says 1 white, destroy target creature, destroy target planeswalker. Do not play Get Lost in your land destruction deck. Rant is over.